Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. St. James, welcome. And all the viewers, people that are coming in, or those of you that are watching later, welcome to the Afridamus Report. So today I'm going to talk about the coup that happened in Guinea Conakry. You know, they've been showing it on social media everywhere. And for those of you who don't know what the meaning of coup is, meaning when the military overthrows an illegitimate government, or even some people might try to say it's legitimate. But as you know, generally in Africa, especially West Africa, when people hold on to power, sometimes they cling on to it. They don't want to let it go. But before I get into all that, I will play a panel. I'll play a discussion I had with some of my Gambian brothers. I was invited on a panel when the coup happened in Mali. They want to hear what I had to say then. And while I was there, in fact, I don't want to tell you. I want you guys to hear what I said a few months ago, how I described things and what's going to happen. I mean, the video, you know, I put the link in the description box for those who would want to go and watch the rest of that, because I don't have the time to play all of the discussion. But I brought parts of it and also talking about Guinea Conakry. I'm going to play that and then I'll give my 2 cents on what is happening today. You know, bear with me here. Sometimes parts of this clip have some glitches, but it's not so bad. So I'm gonna play it, and we will go back to Guinea Conakry here.
Seen the tension since June. We've seen the political unrest over there, people protesting, trying to have the president resign. So we've also seen the militia over there in the north and the instability, gangs in Mali causing all kinds of problems in the country. So now, what do you think? Do you think because the people's voices haven't been heard, they've been protesting for over 2 months, and the government never acquiesced, to their demands? So, do you think it's a necessity for the military to intervene, in certain cases? I'm not trying to justify military coups, but is it a necessity sometimes when the people's voices are not heard for the military to come and intervene? Aphrodite.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Yeah, I'll give a different perspective on what Sheriff gave here. This coup, legitimate coup, I want to start from there. We have to look at what actually caused the coup in the first place. I know we want to talk about having civilian governments, but in Mali, they had a civilian government, who have shown every way of incompetence, corruption, nepotism, and they couldn't even honor the peace deal that they signed with the jihadists up north. And let's not forget about French meddling. The people of Mali were tired of the civil. This is why we are seeing, pictures coming from Mali, videos coming from Mali, the civilian people standing, the civilians standing with the military. This is the second coup in 8 years. And let's not also forget that the President Keita, he himself realized at some point that he was incompetent and he tried to resign. But you have people like Ouattara of Ivory Coast, who himself is looking at, usurping the power in Ivory Coast to go for a third term. And his excuse is, he said, the person he was grooming to replace him, that person died. Okay, so we have to look at these problems. Today in Africa, West Africa especially, in the Francophone part of West Africa, we have people who are French puppets, and these people do not represent the will of their own people. And I believe we're going to continue to see this type of things happening. West Africa have, people have did away with the coups. People got tired of them. But now the trend is headed in that direction where our civilian presidents are so incompetent and corrupt that the coups have to return back. You see what I'm saying? In Mali, this was necessary. There's no ifs and buts about it. It's not about military or non-military. It's about competence and incompetence. So what, they're going to just hand it over to the same civilians who they would have to remove right away? This problem just began. This is just the beginning. Next month or in October, we're going to see the same thing happening in Ivory Coast, because Ouattara have intentions to keep going. He encouraged President Keita to remain in power because he believes that if he resigns, that would empower the people of Ivory Coast to go against him. So he is the one that is leading. He's the one that is leading, the condemnation of this coup, through ECOWAS. We have to ask the question: where was ECOWAS when Mali was going through this turmoil? Where was ECOWAS when Mali is fighting jihadists up north? So we cannot just, gloss over these things and expect something to come out of it. And Mali is just the beginning. Ivory Coast is going to be next.
All right. So
Guinea Conakry is going to be
wow.
next.
So you are predicting that because of what happened, we're going to have a ripple effect to other countries, like that spill over. We're going to go into Ivory Coast when the president's term is due, and also Guinea Conakry. So, Mr. Afrikawa, let me ask you: is this why you have on this military fatigue shot there?
Yes, I am standing in solidarity with the military men that heard the cry of the people and went out there and arrest these criminals who are pretending to represent the interests of the people when in fact they are gangsters, they are French puppets who have no interest in improving the lives of the people. So the power belongs to the people, and the people gave the power to the military. Simple as that.
So you are in support of the military coup. So
Yes.
we've seen in the Gambia during the Truth and Reconciliation Commission over there. So we've seen the lead counsel SFR going back and forth with Edward Singade or some of the leaders of the coup back in Gambia, trying to talk about the constitutionality of the coup or whatnot. Is it the military's role to take? And I see that Mr. Sheriff here, is in sharp contrast with you because he disagrees that the military should intervene. So, Mr. Sheriff, can you add on to what Apidamus just said in terms of his support and thinking that the military taking over was the right thing for Mali?
Yeah, what he said was what happened in Mali is likely to happen in Guinea, and it's likely to happen in Ivory Coast, because there's a rising discontent in each of these two countries, and the reason for the people being unhappy with the political elite are very similar. You have these imperial presidents, in all these, three countries, that want to hold on to power forever. They don't want to give up power. And the people are having, a certain expectation that is different from theirs. They want change, and they don't want to leave. So if we tend to legitimize or rationalize why the military would intervene in politics, just like Mr. Afridemos is saying, this is an excuse that they would use. They are out there to protect the people. That's the rationale that they always give. But history has shown that the military has never been a solution to Africa's problems. They bring change because they have arms, yes. But when they stay in power, after they leave, we come to find out that they set the country back. We have seen that in the Gambia. And the last military coup that happened in Africa before Mali actually was in Zimbabwe, when Mugabe was overthrown. But you will see the problems that were in Zimbabwe prior to the coup are still there. And matter of fact, they've even gotten worse. Zimbabwe is going back to the same malpractices, the same corruption, and the same era of malgovernance that was there prior to the coup that removed Mugabe from power. So the African military should stay in the barracks. We need to hold our governments accountable. We need to call for reform. We need to put pressures, in them to change in ways that is different from taking up arms, to bring regime change. Regime change alone is not sufficient, to bring political reforms or bring, economic, growth, in a country. And we thought, West Africa has turned its back from military coups, but as he said, it's coming back again. And they need to be condemned because they do not solve our problems. They can bring regime change, but they do not really necessarily solve the problems that led them to first of all taking the government out of power. And he did mention one thing: don't even take your country Gambia out of the picture. Don't take Gambia out of the picture, because
no, we'll come to that. We'll come to that one.
Yeah, but I understand.
Come to the Gambia. No, you're fine.
I understand what Mr. Afridemos is saying, and I agree with him. I agree with him. It is the stubbornness of this military, of this civilian presidents who believe that the government or the country belongs to them. They cling on to power. They don't want to listen to the voice of the people. And at the end of the day, these extreme measures are taken where the military would intervene in power. But the military does not have any business in going to overthrowing a government, and bringing change. ECOWAS, he didn't mention ECOWAS. I think ECOWAS, did what it could. We might want to, you're coming back to Gambia, but let me just say this, first. ECOWAS is a bloc, that is, formed, by various nations. It can only play an advisory role or, to mediate, between the civilian population and, the political elites. It cannot really come and, use arms, except under, extraordinary circumstances like what happened, in the Gambia. I mean, they had to do that. But Mali was a different case, because Mali's case, arose, from like a constitutional crisis that was, decided by the courts, but the people still did not want to uphold what the court, decided. So ECOWAS, they did their best, but again, the people did not want, this man to stay in power. And we have to realize the French are not the only ones, who are operating in Mali. There's a multinational force that is composed of other ECOWAS countries, that are operating, on the northern, side of Mali. The French are there, the Americans were there, the Americans withdrew, and President Trump, actually withdrew all the support, financially, towards, combating, the jihadis, within the north. And that also, created some sort of a problem, when it comes, to fighting the jihadis, to bring peace, in that part of Mali. So there are also external factors too we have to look at. But Mr. Afridamos, I think we can disagree on this, but I don't think the military is ever a solution to a political problem. They need to stay in the barracks. That's where they belong. That's what they're trying to do.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Skora. So he mentioned that the military has no business in running a country, or he also talked about, historically what happened in other African countries. So Afridamos, we've seen in the case of Gambia, we've seen in Ghana, a lot of other African countries where the military intervened. So they will bring they'll bring regime change. We've seen that. But system change, happens to be an obstacle for them. So big impediment for them to kind of pursue. So looking at that, historically, what each country has learned about military coups, why is it that, whenever these coups happen, even in the case of Mali, people are in the streets and jubilating, people are excited and happy about, this coup. Is it normal to see people celebrating coups when historically we've known that, it does not end well?
Is this question for me?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we have to remember one thing. I know we like to talk about the constitutionalities of things, but there's a difference between ideal world and what reality is. Yes, I understand in the era military coups that went left, but we also know there are military men, who today, for example, in Rwanda, Paul Kagame, this man fought in the jungles of the Congo and liberated his people. And today we see what Rwanda is like. He liberated his people. So there are outliers that we've seen. But the dissatisfaction of the people, if the Constitution is about the people, we also have to respect that. We cannot always just throw out constitutions, when the civilian governments are overtaken. Yeah, you gave an example about Gambia. You look at this, I'm glad you brought that up. Gambia's situation is similar, was similar to that of what Mali is today. When Yahya Jammeh took over, people supported him. I know there are a lot of, people want to only look at the negative side of things, but Yahya Jammeh has also brought lots of changes. He changed the trajectory of the country. Let's not forget that when we had President Jawara there, he had foreign troops protecting him, which is the Nigerians. So what was his intention? You see what I'm saying? And today we're seeing that same thing. When Yahya Jammeh took over, he saved us from French and Senegalese colonization as we are headed in today, which is actually a recipe for future civil disobedience and pretty much setting us up for a war with Senegal. It's coming. We'll get into that. But we cannot ignore the will of the people. We cannot have people in power who believe that they have to be the ones to decide, who gets to be in power or not. Did you guys, how do you guys just conveniently ignore the fact that these countries, they have constitutions, right? But these presidents, they just, they would change the constitution whenever it fits them. If it says 2 terms, when their 2 terms is up, they change the constitution to try to put themselves in the 3rd term. We have to speak about this. It goes both ways. If we see people in power that are not respecting the constitution, the military has to step in and
so to cut
the
you,
cry of
Mr.
the
Aphrodite.
people.
So why do you think some of these leaders are hell bent on changing, twisting the constitution for a third term in office?
Because of the puppet master behind. Okay, I'm gonna bring something up here. If you look at it, right,
Okay.
in the Gambia, during the impasse, even right now, right?
Yes.
Which troops do we have? Which troops do we have in Gambia? Are they from English-speaking country, or they're from Francophone?
Senegalese, mostly. Senegalese, mostly, yes.
Okay, so Mr. Ouattara, Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast, he's not Ivorian. You can go look this up. He's from Upper Volta back in 1963, which is today Burkina Faso. Okay? There is no one, you cannot find anybody in Ivory Coast that would tell you, oh, I was his teacher. I went to school with him. He's from Faso. He used to be an employee of the IMF. So when the reason why the French brought him and put him in power in Ivory Coast is to control the banking system of their Francophone country. But now, French are trying to, they're expanding their control over the various countries in Africa. If you look at it, Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, they have a totally different, they have totally different problems from the Francophone countries. So Alassane Ouattara is a big problem, a good representation for the French, because Condé in Guinea, for example, did not win the elections. I would get to that. He didn't win the election, but he still held on to power, right? Guinea-Bissau, former Portuguese colony. Isn't it interesting to you that these people are using this the CFA? That should be a very very interesting thing, right? So Gambia is gonna eventually morph. Gambia is gonna eventually, you know, join this the CFA. Senegal is, you know, they can do whatever in Gambia today. They can even go in and arrest people in the Gambia if they want to. Senegal, they are building a dam.
Is that not part of
the
bilateral
that's going to affect
between the two countries?
This is, man, we have to not only look at the surface of things. We have to look deep. We have to look at who the puppet master is. These people that are in power, that are held on to powers in the French, in the Francophone countries, these are employees of the French. Like I said, do you remember in school learning about indirect rule? That's how colonization happened, right? Indirect rule. So for a minute, for 22 years, we were independent. Even though, like, people for 20 years, because Yahya Jammeh even removed us from the Commonwealth, right? But because the African cannot function without the white man being over them, the way Yahya Jammeh ruled, if he was under the French, they would have, they would have removed him a long time ago. But we are also moving towards that French rule. So this is the people in Mali, the people in Ivory Coast, the people in Guinea Conakry, and pretty soon the people in the Gambia are going to catch on to what is going on. And the stability that we think we have is the fact that, Mr. Trump, the Great White Hope, removed American troops, in the Maghreb region, because this is a globalist war. It is a globalist war. So Donald Trump's America First agenda, which is he doesn't want America to meddle in other countries' business, is now slowly unraveling the lies and the lies of the French, because all these people, they wanted to rely on each other to continue to put a stranglehold on various African countries. So we are back in an era where the people are standing up to bring a complete stop to the colonization of West Africa, especially because the French, the Francophone areas have never been completely free. And even Macky Sall of Senegal, even him, he is not safe because he's a French puppet. Telling you this right now. Even him, his position is not safe because these people believe, like Ouattara told Keita, he's the one that told Keita not to resign so that he can be able to stand on his position. He made him believe that the French are going to come and help him. He believed that ECOWAS is going to come and stand with him. Did you know that even the last meeting they had before they agreed with, they come to an agreement with the military for the 12 months. Did you know that Ouattara?
Okay.
Guinea's military has seized power in the country by capturing President Alpha Condé. The constitution of the country has been suspended. The military has claimed that they seized power to solve financial mismanagement and corruption under President Alpha Condé. Colonel Mamadi, head of Guinea's special forces, draped in the country's flag, announced the seizing of power on national television. He said that a soldier is duty-bound to save his country.
Aérienne, comment faire? Avec tous nos camarades, nous allons trouver la solution.
The 83-year-old Alpha Condé, captured by the military, was seen sitting on a sofa surrounded by soldiers. There is no information about his current location. A nationwide curfew has been declared in Guinea following the military takeover. The military has said that the curfew will remain in place until further notice. The army has promised to restore democracy in the country after grabbing power. The soldiers' group has called itself the National Committee of Gathering and Development.
La fermeture des frontières terrestres pendant une semaine encore.
Colonel Mamadi has requested the armed forces to extend support to him. Guinea is a major source of bauxite, the raw material that is used to make aluminium. China is the largest importer of bauxite from Guinea. According to government data, Guinea exported 82.4 million tons of bauxite globally in 2020. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres took to Twitter to condemn the military takeover and demanded the release of the ousted president. He said that the takeover of the government at gunpoint is not acceptable. Meanwhile, US State Department spokesperson Ned Price said that violence and extra-constitutional activities would affect the peace, stability and prosperity of Guinea.
Ladies and gentlemen, you saw that analysis of what I gave, that Condé was going to be next. But did you not find this funny how Antonio Guterres, which is the United Nations people, the Biden foreign, State Department, all these people, all of a sudden, they are coming out condemning the military takeover. You just heard it. The amount of bauxite that Guinea Conakry exports. Where is all that money? Alpha Condé is a criminal. Ask yourself, why are these people trying to back a criminal. They said, release the man. Why? Why would they release him? Here's what he did. This man, that same constitution thing that we were talking about, they don't respect it. In Africa, especially West Africa, they don't respect their own constitution. Whoever is in power, when they feel like it, if it's 2 terms, when that term is coming, they change it to 3 terms. This is what Condé did. You know, he clamped down on his political opponents and extended the term limit for himself. It's obvious. He did not follow through. He didn't win the election, but yet his puppet masters, the United Nations, the French, now the US State Department, they were all behind him. I mean, of course, you know, China, they would go with whoever they can do business with. They don't care. If you're corrupt, they leave that between you and your people. But I'll tell you, I'll tell you what Condé did during the Gambian impasse issue. When Yahya Jammeh in the Gambia refused to give up power and they were doing the negotiations, he said Yahya Jammeh wants to stay there. You know, he wants to fight it until, you know, ECOWAS used their fighter jets and flew over the State House. He all of a sudden agreed. But what Yahya Jammeh did, he loaded up, because he was in one plane, and then he loaded up another plane with money, cars, and gold. But he did not trust going anywhere else, right? He wanted to go to Equatorial Guinea, because say what you want about Equatorial Guinea. Ngema over there, he's not a Western puppet. He doesn't listen to white people. Nobody's over him. He's the king of Equatorial Guinea. So Yahya Jammeh knew, okay, if I go there, I'm safe. I'll be safe in Equatorial Guinea. But Lassana, this Alpha Condé, did the negotiation. He spoke to Equatorial Guinea. They said, okay, we'll accept him. But what he didn't tell Yahya Jammeh everything. Okay? Equatorial Guinea, their president, I would call him the king. What he said was, yes, he can come here. I'll give him a space. I'll give him farmland. But he did not agree for that plane full of cars that Yahya Jammeh stole from the Gambian people, money and gold. He did not accept that to come. But at the time, the planes already flew. They flew to Guinea Conakry. They stopped by there for a second. And when they did that, Condé knew all along. He knew all along that, you know, Theodore in Equatorial Guinea did not, you know, he didn't agree to this stuff coming. And I gotta give it to him for that. He knew this was stolen property from the Gambian people. So he was just being nice. He's like, look, okay, I'm gonna accept you here. You can come, but I don't want any stolen property in Equatorial Guinea. But either way, the flights left. They flew. Condé knowing this flight, that plane wouldn't be allowed to land in Equatorial Guinea. Only one plane was approved to land, which is Yahya Jammeh's plane. So Equatorial Guinea is like, no. We told you one plane. We're not going to accept you to bring this stolen property here. So the plane turned back around. Do you think that plane went to Gambia to return those things to the Gambian people, the gold, the money, the cars? No, that's not what happened. The plane flew right back to Guinea Conakry because that's the directive that Condé gave. Guess who kept those items? all that gold, the millions, the money. He kept them. So I hope Gambia can do some negotiation with Doumbouya. He seems like a stand-up man who would help return these items back to the Gambia. But you guys heard my analysis on why the coups are necessary. The people support it. It is the will of the people. You cannot have people in power who think they can do whatever they want. We have French meddling in West Africa. This is why the people are wising up. They do not want the French to rule over the people there. And they do this through the banks. Alassane Ouattara, the president or the puppet of the French in Ivory Coast, he's the gatekeeper. You have Macky Sall next door to us, the other gatekeeper. And, you know, we have our president there in Gambia called Barrow. Guess who's protecting Barrow? Foreign troops, Senegalese. And these people are causing lots and lots of damage in Gambia. So when people are talking about Western puppets, blah, blah, or the white people doing it, no. They have their African puppets. They look like you. That's why I don't go into the skin color thing. It's good over evil. It is the African himself doing this damage so they can remain in power. Those foreign troops, they need to leave Gambia. They didn't need to stay there. But you see some of you that are confused. You're like, oh, all of you are black, stay here. No. These are foreign troops. This president, because before Yahya Jammeh even ousted President Jawara, the first president, he also, I guess these people didn't learn their lesson. They didn't learn their lesson. He had Nigerian troops there to back him up. He had but when the Gambian forces were ready, guess what? The Nigerians had to stand down. They cannot go against, us in our own country. It's not possible. They had to stand down. And the anger is brewing because these ECOMOG forces are there impregnating, the Gambian women, young girls. They are driving recklessly, killing people. They brought crime, whole host of things. But we all black, right? They are raping women non-stop. To be fair, when the Nigerians were there back in the days, we didn't have those issues. The Nigerians were a lot more civilized. But you have, these are supposed to be Senegalese. This is a French-speaking country. So you're going to bring French-speaking people to enforce laws on English-speaking people. Isn't that recipe for disaster? It is indeed. So this is why I supported the military coup in Mali, and I support this one in Guinea Conakry. I called it 11 months ago. I said it's going to happen. And it did, because what this Alassane Conde, what he did was criminal, and this is why he's been treated like a criminal. So the people that you are seeing in their suits going, talking about, oh, we're United Nations, we are here for the people. Do they sound like they are for the people? They are going against the will of the people because they want to continue to colonize Africa, African nations, through their puppets. So this is why when I put up my argument, when I'm talking to people, I say, no, the skin color is not the problem. You don't want to focus on that because you would be blinded by reality. All these things I'm telling you, who do you think did it? You guys have seen the criminal. And you see their puppet masters. Their puppet masters are upset. They are out trying to back them up, talking about, oh, you gotta release them. No. No. Release them. Did you not hear the type of damage these people are causing to the nation? But because they don't want these nations to be free. So I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to see for yourself that these people you're seeing that are running around talking about they are the presidents, especially in these francophone areas, they are puppets. This is why the military has to step in. This is why they have to step in. Back in the days when Yahya Jammeh took over, that was the first time that Gambia actually was fully independent, I would say, because yes, most people don't like it, but he removed the Gambia from the Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth. If we are truly a free nation, why are we joining the British Commonwealth? To go take instructions from them, bring in the president to Chatham House. I heard what Yahya Jammeh said in his first meeting. He said, these people talk to us like we are their little governors. He gave them the middle finger and walked away. But now we have a puppet there again. What's the first thing he did? Puts Gambia back into the Commonwealth. He goes to France. So now, okay, so the French, what is France doing to try to meddle, to say, oh, we're going to train the Gambian forces? But the thing is, this president they have there, he is rendering the Gambian forces, useless. So in Gambia, the Gambian army itself doesn't have the power. The troops that you see, those are foreign troops. They are not Gambians. So this is why this president also has to open his eye. You want to go through the French route, you will get the French-speaking country treatment. Mali, Guinea Conakry, that's the treatment that is coming. You guys saw, even in Burkina Faso, they had to remove Blaise Compaoré. So it's a ripple effect. It's a ripple effect. Some people who want the technocratic ways, hey, to me, these technocrats have to be removed out of the way. We're tired of hearing empty talk. What we need is people that are ready to work, that are ready to stand up for their country, defend their fellow citizens. That's the Africa I know. That's the Africa I grew up in. When I was young in Africa, there was constant military coups. Constant military coups. Some are good, some are bad. I even gave example of Paul Kagame. He turned out to be good. Marched from the jungles of the Congo, walked in and liberated his people against that genocide. So we have to look deeper, not just the surface, deeper. Look at Ouattara, 83 years old. He doesn't want to give up power. And you see a lot of this all throughout Africa, but people are like, the Western world has its foot on Africa's neck. But let's look at who's wearing that boot. Yeah, they got the foot, but let's look at who's got the boot on. Somebody has the boot on, and they are stepping on their own people's neck. So this is why they got to go. You saw me in that video earlier one. I have on my military camouflage to show support and solidarity with the military. I'm actually very surprised it took this long for these coups to return. We need to mix it up. We need to mix it up. Any place that doesn't want to create the stability, where only the few want to hold on to power and wealth while the rest of the country is suffering. Look, this is not your own property. The country is not your own property. You look at Gambia today, they have Chinese fish mills along the coast in some of these places. The communities are rising up against them. The scarcity of fish, there's criminality rampant all over. I just got the news today. Somebody got stabbed and killed at the Palmarima Hotel up there in Gambia. Say what you want about Yaya Jammeh. Was all this craziness happening when he was there? It wasn't. Because we have useless puppets in power. This is why people have to speak up. So for those of you who are haters talking about, oh, Afridamos, why don't you go there and help? Give me the troops. That's the way I can help. If you want me to get involved, that's the way I would get involved. But I don't think you want me to. Just leave me, let me talk in my mic, okay? Just let me speak in my mic. Those who can hear, let them hear. Those who have sense, let them use their sense. But we have to wake people up. Because this cannot continue. Any fake puppet leader that thinks, oh man, they're gonna keep fooling themselves. You've just seen what happened to Cater. Got arrested like the criminal that he is. Conde rigged the election. He thought he won. Less than a year later, look at what happened. Got arrested. So it's a good thing to see these criminals finally getting what should have been coming to them a long time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a meeting to go to. You know, I gotta go look at some real estate. I set up an appointment, so I gotta go check out, some properties. But I will return again in a little bit and finish, today's show. I mean, not this particular show, but I have what it's called the man in the mirror. I would be responding to a lot of my haters and critics who have been spewing their nonsense to me. I would be back to respond to them. And I noticed that there's a couple of you Nigerians who are butthurt by what I'm saying. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. The things I've been saying, mind you, people have been flooding my inbox, just so you know, to tell me about the misdeeds of what their experience has been. But I hope you enjoyed this show. Don't believe what they're telling you about, oh, these military people are evil. Hey, they can't be more evil than these so-called civilians who don't have the interest of the people. They don't care about the people. They think the country is their personal property. So therefore, why don't we have people who are brave enough to give these Westerners the middle finger and say, Africa for Africans? That's what I believe in. And look at Equatorial Guinea. You have one little family who thinks the country is their personal property, rife with corruption. But over there, the people they are just acting like the little peasants. They are not that enlightened or brave. They think, they accept it. But in West Africa, it's different. West Africans, we are a different breed. Because what's happening in Equatorial Guinea and Gabon, there's no way, or Cameroon, there's no way that would happen on the West African coast. Plain and simple. I've seen it. I've seen corrupt leaders taken down in Sierra Leone, Liberia, Gambia, Nigeria, you name it. Yeah, some of it is bloody, but it has to happen. It has to happen. Even like Liberia, some people like to say, oh, it was a miracle, Liberia, that's why it happened. No, because Samuel Doe thought Liberia was his personal property, sitting there with his jerry calls and stuff. So he got what was coming to him. The hand that he gave out, that's what was returned to him. So you cannot keep a country as your own property. Power belongs to the people. Remember that. Don't let any of these people tell you, the president is high and mighty. And we've got a couple of people who get upset whatsoever. We don't care. You're just one individual. The population is bigger than you. So this is whose voice that I represent. So for those who think, we just support lies and deceit and corruption, good luck. The people are waking up. And the French, we need to put the French on notice. Africa doesn't belong to you. Stay in your own lane and leave African countries alone. That's what the message needs to be. And we shouldn't just talk about it. We do it like Doumbouya and how it was done in Mali. Arrest the criminals and call it good. Enjoy. I'll see you guys here in a little bit.